To be a friend of the earth, you should know that soil is more than dirt. It's a living system. 1 teaspoon of garden soil can contain as many as 5 billion microorganisms. We now finish our story on Nancy Forrester and her efforts to keep the Manna Project alive.
What value does it have? It has historical, cultural, environmental, artistic, and horticultural value. Real horticultural value. Serious horticultural value. And it has rare and endangered plants here, which is so important to keep going all over the world in any sort of subtropical climate where you can grow rare and endangered plants. It keeps the gene pool going.
Nancy Forrester knows her Old Town Key West rainforest has immeasurable value, and others, those who would like to develop this land into at least 9 residences, also know it has immeasurable value. But for the last 40 years, Nancy has spent her own money to keep this undeveloped land undeveloped, adding endangered flora and uncared for fauna.
I came down because it's another world over here. It's really nice.
So impressed with Nancy and what she is doing here, Andre Jara now comes every year to help and volunteer.
It was just like walking into a magical wonderland. It was straight out of Alice in Wonderland, you know, these parrots, and I had my guitar with me, so I started coming out here and just hanging out. I've learned quite a bit about exotic plants, and everything here is rescued. All the exotic ferns, tree ferns that she has, those, maybe I can show you one right here. Yeah, this one, these ferns were rescued from after the last hurricane, Katrina, from Gardner up the Keys. And they need to be watered every day, so I've been doing that.
Jim and Stephanie Cole from Massachusetts discovered Nancy's magical and mystical rainforest years ago and are here again this year to celebrate an anniversary.
It probably shelters things that otherwise would have a hard time existing. Plants from exotic places and birds that need a little bit of help.
And golly, there's even a breadfruit tree in this garden. And where do you read about breadfruit trees? In the Mutiny on the Bounty. You know, Captain Bligh went to Tahiti to collect breadfruit and bring it back.
We're here to celebrate 45 years of marriage, so we understand longevity and commitment.
Yeah, and the sacrifice like Nancy has made, you know, to maintain a place like this, it's remarkable. You know, she's a real devoted person, you know, to nature, to Key West.
And they hear about and come to visit this downtown rainforest from outside the United States as well. Martin Bennett had to see it for himself and traveled all the way from Cornwall, England.
Bought a book, National Geographic, on Miami and the Keys, and heard about the garden through that. Saw the picture of Nancy and a little bit about the garden, so thought we must come and see it. It's a little bit like being in the jungle with no danger. It's a real rainforest, and the birds and everything is just fantastic. It's great to be able to come and see it and experience it, and we just got to keep things like this.
And of course, there are those who have known about Nancy's garden and Nancy's efforts to keep it undeveloped for years. They come here once a year to soak in the creativity this space offers for use in their own writing.
Nancy has had her garden open for a number of years now, and she celebrates the idea of art happening within the garden, coming up from the roots, as she herself has created this space to be organic art, to be a space where, yes, it's a beautiful garden, but to stop for a moment and look and watch, and you realize it's a very carefully, gently, and strongly crafted work of art that she offers to the public and has a number of artists in residence. I'm so happy to be able to be one who's here every March. Who is willing to start?
I can start.
Marge, great, thank you.
What I took from my mother's bag. Mother always had a large handbag. Even as a child, I recognized that the quality of her bag was fine. Black leather lined in calfskin, or alligator with a silk lining and a smart gold clasp that snapped hard when you closed it. This was before the days of pouches or shoulder bags, and I remember how elegant she looked with that black or brown or beige leather bag hanging on her arm. Inside was her handkerchief, and that's what I took. I loved the smell of Shalimar perfume that emanated from it. Her hankies were always fine white linen, trimmed in a lace edging. I think they were made in the Philippines. I took it out one day when things were bad at home. I was about 10, and I crushed that hanky to me, smothered myself with it, and wept.
It is creativity provided to these writers by this incredible rainforest.
I worked with what I had when I came here, which was a canopy of very large old Caribbean trees. And it was a complete shade garden at the time. I got it in 1969. So the only things we could plant here were shade plants. So we specialized in palm trees. And there's a very important collection of palms here, many, many palms, but at least 70 different species, and some are rare and endangered. In 2005, we had 4 hurricane hits here. The end of that season, there wasn't one green leaf in this garden. You could see every house and every fence. And we lost a lot of very important plants because Dennis, which was July 9th, we had a hurricane that went through and put a tornado through the garden and took the canopy out. We had a shade garden in here. You never saw the sun in here. It was always looking up into, it was cooler, 10 degrees cooler when you walked in. It was like, very rainforest-like. And now we're pretty open. We have less upper story, very little mid-story, and a lot of understory because all those hurricanes took the canopy.
But Nancy has fought and fought some more, but facts are facts, and her money cannot support this garden very much longer. In fact, the reality now is, if Nancy does not get some outside funding to help, this garden oasis may be gone within the next 6 to 8 months.
I used to not be able to look at my own garden and say it was beautiful, but I think I'm now able to stroke myself and stroke the garden. It's not only a beautiful place, visually beautiful, but it's a really important place to save for the next generation and the generation after that. I don't have a degree in business. That's just not my bet. You know what? I'm run by the heart and the soul, and I believe so. I can't even imagine a place like this not being here for this community.
Now you can go to a national forest, or you can go to any parts of the United States that are vast and beautiful, but for someone to have preserved this much precious land surrounded by cement, basically, is always an epiphany for those who happen to step through the gates.
Key West is so popular, and it has such a mystique to it. Everyone wants to live here, and the price of real estate is high. It has some cost to maintain this undeveloped, but it's not a very large place that can ever have huge programs. So it isn't a lot of money, but it's a certain amount to maintain it, and we'd like to reach that level.
Well, ultimately, I think that you'll soon be able to take the hat off and not be an endangered species.
Oh, I'll do it right now. Here it comes. It's coming off. I scared the bird. We're not endangered anymore.
As I told you a half hour ago, and as Kinky Friedman will help me tell you now, I knew you'd fall in love with Nancy and what she's doing here, but she needs your help. She needs our help to make this last for generations to come. Kimberly, back to you.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Nancy, and thanks to all who have helped the Manna Project. If you'd like to help, and if you'd like to perhaps see the story again, log on to our website, goodtube.org. Under Organizations, click the Manna Project. For all of us at Profiles in Caring, I'm Kimberly Perkins. Thanks for watching, and thanks for caring.